Professor Mulazim, you would be shocked to hear that today the number is 161. These are the statistics I have received just now. And I'm taking care of the patients for the past 1 week, and all those patients are in the leaky phase. None of the patients we are admitting are the usual dengue fever. So they are all in the leaky phase. They're all the patients who require the critical 48 hours of monitoring. But the good news about it is that number one, it spreads due to mosquito. If we kill the mosquito, we can prevent the spread of the disease. So there is a limit, as we know where to hit the, evil in the bud. Number two, we can use mosquito repellents. Number three, we can use all the preventive measures. Professor Khalid will be talking about that, and everybody knows about it. Wearing of mosquito repellents, prevention of collection of water and the other reservoirs of the mosquito. And most importantly, there's an end to the disease. Unlike COVID and other diseases, where the disease would go on and on and on, and we talked about the mild, moderate, and severe stages of COVID, and we did not know when the critical phase of COVID would end. In contrast to that, we are lucky in way of dengue that we know it's going to last for 48 hours. So if we are vigilant over those 48 hours, which I'm sure Professor Khalid would be basically focusing upon, if we are vigilant in the monitoring of the patient, in giving the right amount of fluid, neither overhydrating nor underhydrating, and carefully um, uh, 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 monitoring the patient regarding output and the vitals, we can save the patient. And the most important part is the role played by the timely referral by the family physicians. So I'm sure there are a number of family physicians on the group, or they might be listening to this webinar later on. Please refer at the right moment when you pick up the warning signs which will be talked about by Professor Khalid Memo. So I leave it over here, and we'll be open for any questions.
Professor Khalid, Madam, at time we will ask the question. Professor Khalid, have you solved the problem for sharing your?
सर आप जरा enable करें मुझे, मैंने वो किया तो है.
Okay, you can start it.
हाँ जी, ये अब मैं स्क्रीन शेयर कर रहा हूँ. डिसेबल्ड का आ रहा है सर. अच्छा, मैं वैसे शुरू कर देता हूँ, मेरे ख्याल सारे लर्नड लोग हैं, ताकि हम टाइम सबका वेस्ट नहीं करें. थैंक यू वेरी मच डॉक्टर बिल्किस, and we all were working together. If I go back to the history, the first case that is documented in Pakistan is back in 1996 in Karachi, and the first epidemic that I and my team faced in Lahore was 2006. At that time, I was working in FJMC, and that is Mother Institution of Dr. Balkis, and we admitted about 65 patients in 2006. And I was wondering, where is bleeding? Because as Dr. Balkis was telling, there was only 3-4 lines in our textbooks about dengue fever. Anyway, we don't have any test except our hand was our test. We put our hand like this. If we saw capillary refill test more than 2 seconds, we say dengue confirmed. And we don't have PCR, we don't have anti-dengue IgM, IgG at that time. Then we faced second epidemic in Lahore in 2007, then 8, and then another major epidemic that was in 2010. And
11.
The epidemic that Dr. Bilkis was discussing, 2011, that was the biggest epidemic that mankind ever faced, because in Gangaram or FJMC, in my team saw 107,242 patients in a small hospital, Gangaram. Oh. And same was the case in MU, Services, Jinnah, LGH. But anyway, I'm going to the, right now at that time we were discussing that we have 4 serotypes, but right now there are 5 serotypes. Remember, whenever dengue mosquito bite a healthy person, the virus goes and attack our white blood cell. And it produces interferon, and all the symptoms of dengue fever like headache, fever, myalgias, these are because of that interferon. And then bone marrow suppression. And once this virus enters, this is basically a spherical virus, enveloped RNA, and it has both structural as well as non-structural protein. Like nowadays we do NS1. This test is available since 2011 with us, and this is the first antigen that is presented in blood and that we can detect by our lab. And it is quite simple test that is present from day 1, and it can be in our blood till day 18. But mostly we detect this test from day 1 to day 5, and from day 3 the PCR, and from day 5 onward IgM antibodies. Remember, once IgM antibodies produced, they remain in our blood for about 90 days. Maximum it can present in up to 6 months. And remember, one thing that is very important. Once we have IgM antibodies in our blood, we don't have second infection. So we are protected with that particular serotype. If I got serotype 1 or genotype 1 infection, I will be protected with that and other serotype till the IgM is present in my blood. Once IgM disappears from my blood, I will be susceptible to other like genotype 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the IgG antibodies then, that usually appear in our blood from day 7 onward, and they are lifelong, because if we see the history of IgG, they are present in our blood for about 60 years of. So most of us have lifespan of around 60. So that's why we say that lifelong immunity with that particular type. So these are the thing. Then, so if you get a second infection, it is more severe than the primary one. As far as I do exactly remember, in 2011, it was said that primary and secondary infection are dengue hemorrhagic fever. These are two separate entities. As this was discussed by our worthy team from Sri Lanka, Dr. Fernando, Dr. Teixeira, and I was closely working with them at that time, along with our most worthy professor, Faisal Masood, Allah Mian Unhe Jannat Naseeb Farmaye. And then in 2012, our team, our Pakistani team, under the chairmanship of Professor Faisal Masood, they have got evidence that this is not a separate entity. It is rather the disease is same, but it is the secondary disease which is more severe. The second time infection is more severe. So these are the things. Then what's about fever? Fever is present in about 90% of the cases. And if for example, 10,000 people get infection, 9,000 will be asymptomatic. And symptomatic will be only 1,000. So only 10% of those will be symptomatic. And among these 1,000 patients, around 100 patients will go into dengue hemorrhagic fever. And then 400 will have simple dengue fever, and around 500 will have viral syndrome like simple myalgias, and they don't have any specific symptoms. And those 100 patients who are having dengue hemorrhagic fever, they will have sign of plasma leakage. This is again very important. What I mean to say by plasma leakage, usually one test that I told, that capillary refill test, then the other thing that you can do at the bedside is just look at the CBC. If you see, I start with hemoglobin. normally, for example, if someone is having hemoglobin of 12 at day 1, WBC 4, and platelet count 150. And if this person has platelet count next day is 140, and the other day, are you listening me, sir?
Yes, you are. Yes, they're clear.
So the third day, we have 120, then 100, then 90, then 80. I don't be afraid of this fever because this is gradual loss. But if there is depletion of platelet count more than 30 count, a rapid drop in platelet count, this means our patient may go into dengue hemorrhagic fever. Chances are there. Then the second thing, hemoglobin, there will be heme concentration, as Dr. Bilkis was telling. And remember, once there is endothelial gap, the platelet count is low due to antiplatelet antibodies, due to bone marrow suppression. And the third thing is leakage. This leakage will lead to loss of plasma volume, and ultimately you can check on blood pressure with reduced pulse pressure. Again, if pulse pressure is below 30, let's, for example, normal pulse pressure should be 120 by 80 millimeter of mercury, mean 40. But if someone is having below 30, again, we should be alert that our patient may go into leaky phase. And if it is below 20, it means our patient is definitely going into leaky phase. Along with this, the third thing is WBC. WBC initially fall down. Usually, these are the first cell that start increasing. But at the same time, WBC are going to increase, but platelet are going down. This means our patient is going into leaky phase. This is the time where you have to be extra careful. You have to give calculated fluid, because mostly, now I will come, like if someone is having hematocrit, normally usually 37 to 43. If this hematocrit increase by 20%, so let's, for example, hematocrit value is 50. So you should give, and pulse pressure below 20, immediate give normal saline. Fluid of choice is crystalloid, normal saline. Don't give water, because patient is in leaky phase. This fluid will go into third space like interstitial space, and patient may have ascites, pleural effusion. So here you need to give crystalloid. If pulse pressure does not improve, give 500 ml of another shot of normal saline. Again, doesn't improve, then this patient needs colloid. And we have colloids in two forms. Like one is Dextran 40. Normally, this should be given over half hour to 1 hour. There's no need to give very slow. If you give it very slowly, it will not serve the purpose. So we have to give this colloidal solution over 1 hour. And if pulse pressure comes up, then you will go again to your normal routine. Again, remember, during leaky phase, you have to calculate fluid very meticulously. For example, during the leaky phase usually start at day 5th, 6th, or 7th and last for about 48 hours. Remember, it can start as early as day 3. So here you have to see a few things. For example, I will go into the scenarios. For example, your patient having poor pulse, skin normal, temperature cold, capillary fill test more than 2 seconds, and pulse pressure less than 20, and hematocrit increase, and urine output. Urine output is also another very important sign, usually less than 0.5 mil per kg per hour. But if it is below 0.5 or minimum to 0.25 mil per kg per hour, this patient needs fluid therapy in the form of bolus, as I have said, that give normal saline. The next is that pulse volume again poor hai. Hematocrit start decreasing once you have given, and urine output still low. So what to do here? again you need to give. Now remember, I have told hematocrit value 50, leaky phase, but this hematocrit value, if dropped rapidly from 50 to let's 30, this means your patient has bled. Now this is the patient. Please clear this point. If hematocrit value rapidly fall from 50 to 30 or 35, this means our patient has internal bleed. So this is the patient where you need to give blood transfusion. Now again, hematocrit reduced, but urine output increased to more than 1 ml per kg. It means your patient is in recovery phase and or in a dengue hemorrhagic fever. Again, if pulse pressure is reduced below 20, hematocrit reduced, urine output increased, here along with normal saline, you need to give dextran 40 along with furosemide midway and do X-ray chest as well. Usually fluid resuscitation with crystallite, push with normal saline 20 ml per kg body weight, and you can repeat with 10 ml per kg weight and dextran 40 10 ml per kg over 1 hour. Remember, pulse should be palpable, and if there is tachycardia, you need to continue crystallite. Normally, total fluid is equal to maintenance plus 5% deficit. Remember, this includes both IV as well as oral fluid. And this amount need to be given over 24 to 48 hours. And here we usually keep normal body weight as a 50 kg, standard body weight. Whether it is 70, 80, we usually keep 50 kg as a standard. If weight below 50, then we need to. That I tell you. For first 10 kg, remember fluid is 100 ml per kg. So for 100 ml, so 100 is multiplied by 10 is equal to 1 liter. For second 10 kg, fluid is 50 ml per kg. So 10 into 50 is equal to 500. So total fluid for first 20 kg is 1.5 liter. For example, if 30 kg weight, 50 kg, the remaining balance is 20 ml per kg. So 20 into 30 is equal to 600. So total fluid is 4600 ml. For example, if body weight is 22 kg, for first 20 kg is 1.5 liter. The balance is 2 kg. So that 2 kg is multiplied by 20 ml. As I have told that 20 multiplied by remaining body weight. If weight is 40, I will 20 multiply by 20. First 20 has a 1.5 liter. The next will have weight according to 20 ml के हिसाब से आपने उसको multiply करना है. और जो balance body weight है वो 50 ml per kg body weight के हिसाब से आपने करना है. जो भी whatsoever the weight 50 kg तो 50 को आप multiply कर देंगे 50 से around 2.5 liter. So overall जो हमने deficit calculate किया वो 40 ml बनता है for 50 kg person. एंड जो डेफिसिट था 5% बॉडी वेट का वो 2500 मिल है. फॉर एग्जांपल 22 केजी के लिए हमने जो उनका डेफिसिट बनता है वो 1100 मिल बनता है. और जो टोटल फ्लूइड जो हमने कैलकुलेट किया फॉर फर्स्ट 10 केजी 100 मिल, फॉर नेक्स्ट 10 केजी 50 मिल पर केजी, एंड द नेक्स्ट 2 केजी इज 20 मिल into 2. So around 1540 plus 1100 is equal to 2640. So this way we can calculate. Usually, initially there is no shock during first 2 days and there is no leakage. You can give fluid freely. How much? Normally, I recommend that give the normal maintenance, more replacement if there is vomiting or diarrhea. Usually patient have either diarrhea or vomiting, there you need to give extra fluid. And give electrolyte solution, not plain, as I have already told. Then तो फर्स्ट बोलस के बाद आपने 2 बोलस सेलाइन के देने के बाद always consider colloid solution. और colloid में हमारे पास remember कि we have colloidal solution dextran 40 or starch 6. People are giving other like Hamaxil, they are not that good in dengue fever. Usually look for sign of leaking and platelet dropping. Another very important, if I exactly remember in 2011, even if platelet count were 50,000, people used to come to us and say, please give platelet to my patient. Even I have seen the threat. One of my patients came to me during my round. That was the first day of Sri Lankan team. Doctor, my patient is having 30,000 platelet count. Please give platelet. I said to him that your patient don't need platelet. He's in a good shape and he's in recovery. He said, if something happened to my patient, I will fire you. So this was the threat at that time. One threat was from patient, other threat was from media. आज 50 लोग प्लेटलेट ना मरने की वजह से मर गए, डॉक्टरों की नहली, प्लेटलेट नहीं दिए. This was the, but remember these platelet don't have any role in the management unless our patient, like patient is bleeding, platelet count is below 10,000 or you can increase up to 20,000, and your patient, if your patient needs surgery, then you need to build up platelet above 50,000. For example, if a pregnant lady need C-section or a patient develop acute appendicitis and patient need emergency surgery, there you need to increase the platelet above 50,000. There you need mega kits. And the 20 to 25% colloid and 10 to 15% patient need bleed. As I have told that if there is rapid fall of hematocrit, you need to give after colloid, you need to give, if at all, is the blood. Only 0.4% patient need platelet. So with that, usually 3 doses of Dextran 40 can be given in 24 hours and 5 doses of starch 6% during 24 hours. Remain in circulation for much longer time in comparison with normal saline. So with that, I will finish so that we can have question answer session and we can discuss these things in detail.
Thank you very much, Professor
with
Khalid.
that,
Before we start the session,
you very much.
I will request Professor Munir. He is a virologist and bacteriologist to let us know about different danger of the different strain. Professor Munir, are you there? Professor Muhammad Munir?
Yes, I am there, sir.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Yes, I am there, sir. Bukhari Sahab.
Yes, sir.
You see, the very learned colleagues have already talked about the management and the pathogenesis. I will just add a couple of things. As already have been said that there are 4 serotypes of dengue virus. It is a RNA virus which is having a single-stranded RNA genome. The only thing which I have to add is that during the 2011 epidemic, under the chairmanship of Professor Asad Aslam, there was a question, you see. People have talked about the secondary infection and the primary infection. And it is well known that if you have primary infection with one serotype and it is followed by another serotype, the chances of severe disease, they are much more than with only one type of virus. So at that time, the question on the agenda was whether we are having 1 or 2 serotypes in the society at Lahore. And I'm sure you are part of that study. We collected about 500 suspected cases of dengue, and we got the serotyping from CDC in USA, and we came up with the result that in our society there was only one type of dengue virus at that time. So we are quite confident the chances of secondary infection will be less because will be less because there was only one serotype. So I will add only a couple of things. The people are so learned that I feel, you see, कि मैं थोड़ा सा little apprehensive, कोई गलत बात ना कर जाऊं. जो you see this Sri Lankan team when they came in, the most important, a couple of things which they mentioned, that you should always keep an eye on the hematocrit. If it starts rising, that's the time the patient is going into leakage. Now I will say only a few words about why the secondary infection is more severe than, which is usually of a different type. That is, you see, there is a phenomena called antibody enhancement. That is the body which is infected with one type of virus. It has already antibodies. And when you see the second type of the dengue serotype comes in, instead of neutralizing, you see, the second virus, it promotes the entry of the more and more virus into the macrophage, and that leads to the production of the, you see, this interferon and the tumor necrosis factor alpha and the interleukins, especially the interleukin 2, which create the havoc, you see. You see, the rest of the things, if they have any questions, you see the participants.
Thank you so much. Before I start the answer and question, Professor Amir is the head of the Department of Children, and Professor Wajia is there. Anybody from you can ask the prevalence of dengue fever in the children in your departments. Professor Amir? Okay, now we start the very thankful to Arun Singh. Welcome in our session. You are also our student from King Edward Medical University. Arun, can you ask a question? Dr. Arun is there, Dr. Arun? Arun Kumar is our student from King Edward Medical University, and nowadays he is in United States of America, and he is from Nepal. Arun, can you, Arun, yes?
Thank you so much, sir. No question from my side. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Arun, we want to let you know we are proud of you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
There is one question that NS1 antigen detect, then one genotype, any similar test available for other genotype? I think so. Our microbiologist will give a definite answer, but as far as I know, this NS1 is the structure. If you see the structure of this flavivirus, there are two type of protein. One are structural, other are non-structural protein. This NS1 is not related with DEN1. It is related with all the types. So NS1 is non-structural protein 1 that is present in the blood, and we detect it earliest. So that is why NS1 antigen is given the name. So this is the same for other genotype. As far as I know, that there was a study in 2012 from Allama Iqbal Medical College, where it was seen, and the sample was sent to UK, and it was seen that we have other genotype like genotype 2, 3, 4, all genotypes were present in Lahore. That's why we have secondary infection. If I remember, in 2006, whatsoever the admitted patient was 65 in Gangaram, I did not saw even a single hemorrhage. And I was wondering, yaar ye hemorrhage कह रहे हैं, किताब में भी hemorrhagic fever है, कोई hemorrhage नहीं है, simple सा rash है. When 2008 came in, we saw few hemorrhage in our patient. And in 2010, and then 11 we saw large number of patients. This time ये एक और important point है जो मैं highlight करना चाहता हूँ. Dr. Bilkis will agree. Up till now we have about our all 5 wards are flooded with patient of dengue fever in Jinnah Hospital. Even in my private practice, around more than 200 patients I have seen in last 2 weeks. The one thing that is different from 2006, 8, and 9, 10, 11 epidemic is the involvement of liver. My own study from 2006 till 10 showed that 62% patient may have deranged liver enzyme. But usually what was only 3% patient were having more than 5 times deranged liver enzyme. But nowadays, what I am seeing that more or less all the patient, around above 95% patient, they are having SGPT 150, 200, 300, and I have seen patient, one of our senior colleague, she's professor of biochemistry, and her mother came in and her SGPT was 1500. And day before yesterday, I admitted patient with SGPT, SGOT 2300. So I am wondering what is experience. Dr. Bilkis will elaborate more because she's also seeing more and more patient. And another before we going to
Professor Amir Ijaz, can you discuss about the liver function test and other tests in the patient?
Lazam, can you give me the mic
Yes, sir.
for a few minutes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Ji, sir. Professor Amir Ijaz, then Professor Munir, I will give you the mic to you. Professor Amir Ijaz.
Thank you very much, sir, for asking for my input. Actually, the increase in these transaminases, which are ALT and AST, previously called SGPT and SGOT, I think we should now adopt new names because the older names were not Islamic names. we have to follow the new names, and these are increased in any fever, any slightest insult to the liver that will cause a release of these transaminases. There are many mechanisms for their release of these two enzymes. One is the fever itself. Fever itself is a very important cause of release of these enzymes. And secondly, the drugs which are given to them, even 2 tablets of paracetamol can sometimes cause a release of these enzymes. So it is not necessarily a severe damage or moderate damage to the liver. It is just because of the minor insults. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our friend from Afghanistan, Dr. Malik Zai, can you ask the question? Professor Rashid Saab, you can ask. Sir, okay, sorry, sir. Professor Munir Saab, yes. Professor Munir.
Yes, he's responding to the the comment given by Dr. Khalid Mahmood. Let me inform you that the study which we conducted in 2011 or 12, I'm
yes,
not
sir,
very
I was
sure.
also co-author with you, sir.
आप भी उसके co-author थे. We sent about 400 cases of suspected dengue, and out of them, you see, no case was of dengue 1, 3, or 4. It was all dengue 2. And this data was shared with Professor Faisal Masood. Initially, he was very skeptical, but later on, he was a part of this study, and you see, he was one of the co-authors of this study. So I'm not very sure about the serotypes prevalent in Pakistan right now. But at that time, and this analysis was not done in Pakistan. The PCR was done in, you see, the Center for Disease
America, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know, sir.
Udhar se hua tha, and all the results are still available on the website.
Yes, sir. Professor Amir, can you, I have one question from you, Professor Amir, from head of the Department of Children. Can you let us know about the dengue fever in the children? Dr. Amir? Dr. Amir. Okay.
Gachia is here.
Professor Khalid.
जी सर.
Professor from Azad Kashmir. What is the type of dengue fever? What is the type of strain in Azad Jammu Kashmir Muzaffarabad? Professor Khalid Awan. Okay, Professor Khalid Awan, you can. Professor Rashid, you are
Sir,
asking.
I'm trying to unmute myself.
जी सर, प्रोफेसर खालिद.
Sir, at the moment we don't have.
हमारे यहाँ कौन सा डेंगू फीवर है सर? मुजफ्फराबाद में.
Sir, we don't have this PCR data with us at the moment.
PCR नहीं किया. आप उसको कहें ना सर, हमारी PCR लैब को डॉक्टर ममताज साहब को, कि वो हमें बताएं कि हमारे कुछ सैंपल भेजें कि हमारे किस तरह का टाइप का वो है सर.
जी sir, we are now doing it, but at the moment we don't have much.
Okay, Professor Amir.
मुलाजिम साहब मुझे टाइम देना, मैं बताऊं आपको.
जी सर.
Can I respond to this question, sir?
जी सर. जी सर.
मुलाजिम साहब.
जी सर.
This test is not freely available in Pakistan. It's a very costly test. You see, nowadays the people are working on it. और इसकी एक टेस्ट की जो कीमत है ना, अगर पूरा जो इसके प्राइमर वगैरह मंगाए जाए, और PCR की कीमत is more than $50, around $70-80. तो आई एम श्योर कि ये जो है ना, शायद ये जो लाहौर में निपची वाले कर रहे हैं कुछ, लेकिन ये freely available नहीं है. That's why we had to send this specimen to USA.
Okay sir. Professor
Rashid, काफी महंगा टेस्ट है.
Sir, Professor Rashid, before Madam Balkis, before Rata, Rashid, you want the question?
Thank you, Professor Mulazim साहब, और पहले तो बहुत शुक्रिया इतना अच्छा वेबिनार और टॉपिक बरमौका अरेंज करने का. इसमें एक क्वेश्चन है और एक थोड़ी एडिशन है फिजियोलॉजी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से. क्वेश्चन तो ये है कि ये जो नेगेटिव एंटीजन टेस्ट आता है, बहुत सारे पेशेंट हम देख रहे हैं. ऑफ कोर्स वीक 1 में एंटीजन को पॉजिटिव आना चाहिए, उसके बाद एंटीबॉडी, तो रिपीटेडली टेस्ट नेगेटिव आता है और बिल्कुल प्योरली पिक्चर होती है डेंगू की. इस नेगेटिव टेस्ट की काज बता दें. और दूसरा मैं ऐड करना चाहता हूँ कि बाज़ लेबॉर्टरीज जब आप CBC उन्हें लिखते हैं तो बहुत कुछ दे देते हैं, हेमेटोक्रिट साथ नहीं देते अगर अलग से ना लिखें. तो उसका एक फार्मूला भी है बहुत सिंपल, MCV को RBC काउंट से मल्टीप्लाई करके 10 से डिवाइड करके, तो वो फिजिशियंस घबराए नहीं, वो उस फार्मूले से कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं वेरी इजीली. तो ये तो एडिशन में नहीं करना था.
आप इसका जवाब दें प्रोफेसर.
सर सबसे पहले तो मुनीर साहब को सलाम करते हुए उनकी परमिशन से I would Assalamu alaikum sir. Sir, I would like to say comment upon something. Munir Saab would agree with me that himself being our teacher and his teachers and our senior teachers, they would tell us treat the patient and not the investigations. So number one is that over the years it is just common sense which would tell us that as Munir Saab investigated in 2011 along with the esteemed
with me, I was also
Mulazim Bukhari Saab and as Professor Marhoom Professor
Asad Aslam
and Asad Aslam Saab and very senior people, that there was one serotype which was prevalent at that time. Now over the years it's just common sense that the ADs is common for all the serotypes. And I still remember one statement which Professor Masood Saab made at that time. As Professor Munir said, that he was very skeptical about the number of serotypes at that time. He made one statement. कि पहली दफ़ा एक मच्छर काटेगा, डेंगू होगा, बच जाओगे. दूसरी दफ़ा काटेगा तो सिवियर होगी. तीसरी दफ़ा काटेगा तो और सिवियर होगी, हेमोरेजिक फेज में जाओगे. और चौथी दफ़ा काटेगा तो मर जाओगे. So he was, he was very, sure about these things. और ये मुझे dialogue उनका बहुत अच्छी तरह याद है in one of his talks with us. So I think that this is actually over the last 1 decade what we are seeing. ये रहा है endemic तो सर ये है, and it has repeatedly caused upsurges during the rainy seasons. आपने देखा होगा पिंडी में कई upsurges आई, लाहौर में आई, but this is one catastrophic one. और the reason जो खालिद महमूद साहब, क्योंकि वो clinical floor पे काम कर रहे हैं, मैं कर रही हूँ, राशिद साहब कर रहे हैं, अब्दुल खालिद साहब कर रहे हैं, we are all observing that these patients are more in the critical phase, more in the leaky phase, and more severe. So definitely they have been infected by multiple serotypes. तो ये सर ये clinically हमें बता रहे हैं, and this is food for thought for research. जैसे बुखारी साहब हमें हमेशा encourage करते हैं research. I think it's time we should make a multi-centric research. और इस forum पे would invite कि एक आज़ाद कश्मीर से हो जाए 2-3 सेंटर, चिल्ड्रन हॉस्पिटल. We have myself from King Edward, Dr. Khalid Waheed नजर आ रहे हैं मुझे from Gulab Devi. So why not we make a multi-centric बहुत ज़रूरी बात है. We were talking about can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me?
जी प्रोफेसर
सर एक चीज है जो एक फिनोमेना होता है सर, एक फिनोमेना होता है ब्लाइंड स्पॉट. ठीक है, जहाँ हमारे फोविया के जो रेटिनल सेल्स सारे फोविया में डिप करते हैं, और एक मेरा राइट साइड पे ब्लाइंड स्पॉट है, एक मेरा लेफ्ट साइड पे ब्लाइंड स्पॉट है. एक तो ये होता है ना ब्लाइंड स्पॉट. वन इज द फिनोमेना ऑफ ब्लाइंड स्पॉट. व्हाट वी हैव अ टेंडेंसी इज सर दैट व्हेन कोविड कम्स we just see COVID and we forget about the other possible causes of fever in our society and our community. Same is true nowadays. कि अब डेंगू आया है तो we are closing our eyes on COVID. अब आप कल की न्यूज़ है कि they are sort of softening the वो जो होते हैं restrictions जो होती हैं, social restrictions regarding COVID. क्या होगा कि डेंगू जरा नीचे आएगा मच्छरों के साथ, जब सर्दी आएंगी तो कोविड दोबारा बढ़ जाएगा. और तीसरी चीज जो सर ब्लाइंड स्पॉट में है, जो हमें कभी नहीं भूलनी चाहिए, दैट इज अदर कॉजेज ऑफ फीवर, एंटेरिक फीवर. सर ट्यूबरकुलोसिस, खालिद वहीद साहब इधर मेरे सामने हैं. वी आर कोविड के दिनों में वी वर सीइंग ट्यूबरकुलोसिस, और उसके ऊपर हमने ब्लाइंड स्पॉट किया हुआ था. So we have to exclude the other. और सर एक और चीज़ I would share, and I don't know what Khalid Mahmood Saab has to say on this, but we are seeing patients with COVID plus enteric, then COVID with hepatitis E. एक patient sir who passed away day before yesterday was a patient. She was a pregnant lady, 26 years of age, had dengue. And on top of that, she was in fulminant hepatic failure. We checked for hepatitis E. इस पे मुनीर साहब शायद लाइट थ्रो करें बेहतर कि was it the cross reaction of the antibodies that we saw a positive hepatitis E, or was it really, which could be an underlying hepatitis E along with dengue, that the patient went into fulminant hepatic failure and we could not save her. और सर इधर एक और बात आपकी इजाजत से, I know I'm taking more time. We have not touched the aspect of a pregnant. We have talked about infants, and probably I would request our pediatrician, Dr. Wajiha, to talk about the infant behavior of infants.
Professor Amir is there from pediatrics. Professor Amir.
We would love to hear from him. लेकिन सर एक चीज़ जो मिस कर रहे हैं, they are the pregnant ladies. सर so please, pregnancy में इसका एक बहुत है, जैसे अब हेपेटाइटिस में या कोई भी कॉज ऑफ एक्लेम्सिया में, व्हाट आर एम इज के जल्दी इसको डिलीवर करो, इंड्यूस करो, डिलीवरी इंड्यूस करो, एंड आइदर डू इट बाय सी सेक्शन और इंड्यूस इट. लेकिन डेंगू में वी हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल अबाउट इट. और आई होप कोई अगर होता हमारे पास शायद हो कोई गायनेकोलॉजिस्ट.
बताता हूं गायनी में. Professor Amir, can you respond the question of Professor Bilkis? Dr. Amir from Bahawalpur. He is head of the department of pediatrics.
I joined the presentation, this webinar from the start, but unluckily in between I was at a place where I could not get the signal, so I was cut off a little bit.
Thank you.
So I'm Professor Dr. Amir, working in the pediatrics at BVH, Qaid-e-Azam Medical College, Bahawalpur. So I have a few points about the dengue. Although we are in the process of preparation and we are also screening the patients for the dengue, but still this is not very common in Bahawalpur. Up till now, we are getting sporadic cases, but we are mentally prepared over here, and we are setting our wards separately. Still, we are continuing to screen the patients as well, but still the proportion of the cases is quite low over here in the Bahawalpur. But we are on the alert. So I want to say 2 points. One, latest, I was going through the parameters of the platelets, MPV. MPV is now a very important indicator for the severity of the COVID. Like MPV is below 10 and above 7, so we should be on alert. And if it is between 7 and 5, it is moderate disease, the patient is going to more severity. And if the MPV is less than 5, it is very much significant. And similarly, the distribution weights of the platelets is also important in assessing the severity of the dengue fever. The second point, which is thought-provoking, as the world is proceeding towards the vaccination, so due to COVID or due to some other reasons, our attention was not on the dengue, but this was one of the things which has been missed. And I would suggest that we should also think on that, the vaccination. That is one of the important perspective, although the requirement for vaccination, the screening is must. If the person is having already antibodies, IgG is positive, so he will be vaccinated. Otherwise, who will not be having antibodies, he will not be vaccinated. So this is one of the points we should also think over this point as well. So these are a few submissions from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Sadia Adnan. Dr. Sadia Adnan, can you answer the question about the dengue in the pregnant woman? Dr. Sadia Adnan. Okay. Okay, Professor Khalid Mahmood.
सर यहाँ पे एक दो क्वेश्चन है. एक तो आवर वर्दी प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर खालिद वही साहब ने पूछा व्हाट इज द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ राइजिंग हेमाटोक्रिट एंड डिक्रीजिंग हेमाटोक्रिट. तो एज आई हैव टोल्ड इन माय इनिशियल टॉक दैट इनिशियली ड्यू टू हीम कंसंट्रेशन हेमाटोक्रिट स्टार्ट राइजिंग. इफ देयर इज 20% राइज इन हेमाटोक्रिट बिकॉज एट द सेम टाइम लीकेज हो रही होती है, तो दिस इज अ more than 20% hematocrit rise. Let's if someone is having 40 initially, and the very next day you come in the ward and you see CBC and where you see hematocrit 50, so it means your patient has heme concentration, your patient has leakage. So अब आपने उस लीकेज को चेक करने के लिए जरूरी आपके पास 3 पैरामीटर्स हैं. एक तो इमीडिएटली आप ब्लड प्रेशर चेक करें, पल्स प्रेशर विल बी लो. आप अल्ट्रासाउंड करवा सकते हैं, एक्सरे चेस्ट करवा सकते हैं. अल्ट्रासाउंड पे इवन 5 ml फ्लूइड भी होगा तो वो डिटेक्ट कर देगी. सो दैट इज मोर सेंसिटिव देन इवन एक्सरे चेस्ट. सो ये है. और दिस इज द पेशेंट वेयर यू हैव टू गिव क्रिस्टलाइट सॉल्यूशन फॉलोड बाय कोलाइड इफ नीडेड. अब दूसरा जो सर का क्वेश्चन है कि डिक्रीजिंग हेमाटोक्रिट, अब ये 50 था, अब उससे अगले दिन आप आए या सुबह आपने देखा तो 50 था हेमाटोक्रिट, शाम को आए तो 30 है. इट मींस योर पेशेंट हैज ब्लीडिंग. दिस इज द पेशेंट वेयर यू नीड, क्योंकि हीमोग्लोबिन कई दफा इनिशियली फॉल नहीं करती, हेमाटोक्रिट इज मोर सेंसिटिव. सो दिस इज द पेशेंट वेयर यू नीड अलोंग विद क्रिस्टलाइड और कोलाइड ब्लड ट्रांसफ्यूजन. जहां तक प्लेटलेट की बात है, आई डू एग्री विद माय वर्दी कोलीग कि these are with sign of severity, but जब लीकी फेज हो रही होती है, because platelet size स्मॉल होता है, वो एंडोथेलियल गैप के साथ साथ वो ड्रेन आउट हो रहा होता है. सो पहला साइन ऑफ रिकवरी जब हम सीबीसी में देखते हैं, बीइंग फिजिशियन मे बी आई एम रॉन्ग, लेकिन वो जो है कि WBC स्टार्ट राइजिंग, प्लेटलेट स्टार्ट डिक्रीजिंग. वो डिक्रीज जो है वो लीकेज की वजह से हो रहे होते हैं. सो जैसे ही लीकी फेज बंद होती है, WBC नॉर्मल आ जाता है, तो प्लेटलेट लैग बिहाइंड, सो प्लेटलेट तो वो ही आपको इंटैक्ट. और एक और साइन ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट है, वो ये है कि हमारे पेशेंट, अगर आपको राउंड पे गए और पेशेंट कह रहा है डॉक्टर साहब खारिश हो रही है, 5वें या 6ठे दिन, तो समझ जाइए दिस इज आल्सो अनदर इनडायरेक्ट साइन ऑफ रिकवरी, योर पेशेंट इज इम्प्रूविंग. सो दीज आर द फीचर्स के जो मैं हाईलाइट करना चाह रहा था. बाकी डॉक्टर बिल्किस ने बड़ा राइटली कि हमें ए और ई देखना चाहिए. ये जो पेशेंट जिनके मैं बात कर रहा था कि अबव 1500, इनका मैंने ए और ई दोनों पेशेंट के करवाए हैं. इनके नॉर्मली आई नो दैट बीइंग गैस्ट्रोएंटरोलॉजिस्ट के हर पेशेंट में तो आप नहीं करवाते, लेकिन जिनके भी मोर देन 5 टाइम डी रेंज थे उनके मैंने ए और ई करवाए प्राइवेट सेक्टर में, क्योंकि दीज आर अफोर्डिंग क्लास. एज यू नो इन हॉस्पिटल वी आर फेस प्रॉब्लम नहीं कर सकते, तो वहां पे ये इश्यू था. लेकिन ये क्योंकि इस पे जो और इंटरनेशनल स्टडीज भी हैं, पैरास्टामोल यस ऑफ कोर्स यू आर राइट, डॉक्टर साहब ने कमेंट किया कि जी पैरास्टामोल की स्मॉल डोज भी दें तो दैट कैन इंक्रीज द लिवर एंजाइम. यूजुअली टॉक्सिक डोज ऑफ पैरास्टामोल इज 7.5 ग्राम. सो जो हम यूजुअल डोज दे रहे होते हैं 2 गोलियां 1 ग्राम बनती हैं, यूजुअली उनसे लिवर एंजाइम इतने डीरेंज नहीं होते कि पेशेंट के मोर देन 10 टाइम डीरेंज हो जाए. सो ये एक मेरा कमेंट था. मे बी आई एम रॉन्ग, लेकिन वर्दी स्पीकर इस पे कमेंट कर सकते हैं.
मुलाजिम मुझे कमेंट देने की इजाजत है प्रोफेसर मुलाजिम.
सर
In fact, I was a part of a number of presentations given by the Sri Lankan group. I am not a treating physician, but what I still remember, and I fully agree with Professor Khalid Mahmood, they were saying one thing: keep an eye on the hematocrit, and if the hematocrit starts increasing, that is the time you should become, you see, vigilant. Second thing on vaccination, in fact, you see, the CDC and the American authorities have approved the vaccine only in 2021, and it is recommended for all the persons who have been already infected. What I am saying, already infected, and show the presence of IgG antibodies. It is not recommended for those people who, you see, कोई उनकी हिस्ट्री नहीं है या उसमें IgG एंटीबॉडीज नहीं है, यानी जिनको इन्फेक्शन नहीं हुई, क्योंकि अगर उनमें दे दी जाए तो ये इट एक्ट्स एज एन इनिशियल इन्फेक्शन एंड लीड्स टू दैट एंटीबॉडी डिपेंडेंट एनहांसमेंट. ये मेरा अभी अपडेटेड हूं.
सर आपने जी सर आपने बहुत अच्छा इस पे कमेंट किया है कि स्नोफी वालों ने, स्नोफी पास्चर ने एक लाइव अटेन्यूएटेड वैक्सीन प्रिपेयर की थी फॉर एडल्ट बिटवीन 9 and 45 years of age. और उसमें ये था, क्योंकि प्रॉब्लम यही है वैक्सीनेशन के साथ कि ऐसी वैक्सीन चाहिए जो पैन जीनोटाइपिक हो. अब अनफॉर्चुनेटली क्योंकि एक जीनोटाइप के साथ इम्यूनिटी होती है, तो इसीलिए जितनी भी वैक्सीन अभी तक एक ही डेंगावैक्स के नाम से वैक्सीन हमारे मुल्क में आई थी, एवेंटिस वालों ने लॉन्च की है, बट दैट इज रिकमेंडेड फॉर एडल्ट बिटवीन 9 and 45. एंड आई 100% एग्री विद प्रोफेसर मुनीर साहब, आवर वर्दी सीनियर कोलीग, कि ये उन लोगों में देनी है दोज हु हैव ऑलरेडी गॉट इन्फेक्शन. सो फर्स्ट टाइम नहीं देनी बिकॉज इट विल एक्ट एज ए antigen. Thank you.
Before Ji madam, I would like to ask the question of Dr. Isra Zaman from Iraq. If you want to ask the question, Dr. Isra Zaman from. Okay, Ji madam. डॉक्टर
सर ये डेंगू वैक्स की चूंकि बात हुई है वैक्सीनेशन की, सर ये बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है जो मुनीर साहब ने जिक्र किया है कि IgG के बगैर डेंगू वैक्स नहीं देनी. दिस वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय सनोफी and the first phase 3 trial were conducted in Brazil and Philippines on school going children, and they found out that वो उनकी primary infection और secondary infection को rule out नहीं किया गया था, and they found out that that resulted in later on increased prevalence of hospitalization. तो ये है. और सर दूसरी में आई वुड स्टिल लाइक टू स्टिक बैक टू व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग, क्योंकि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कॉम्रेड डॉक्टर सलमा भी इधर हैं, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कंपोनेंट इज आर प्रेग्नेंट फीमेल्स. आई वांट टू कंप्लीट माय स्टेटमेंट दैट प्लीज इन डेंगू वी डू नॉट इंड्यूस induction of labor, we try to pass those 48 hours of critical phase. If the patient has not come in the critical phase, it is an indication. Pregnancy is an indication for admission and monitoring, just like in infants, because they can go into critical phase at a higher risk for going into critical phase. और फिर वो 48 hours गुजार के जो आप कोशिश करेंगे, that would be of normal labor. So अगर normal labor में कोई obstruction ऐसे आ रहे हैं तो फिर obviously the gynecologist would know better the indications for going for C-section. लेकिन है और उसमें भी ये बात याद रखनी है कि 48 hours जितना हम लंबा गुजार सकते हैं, इसमें वो वाला नहीं है.
Thank you very much.
Induction of labor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bilkis. Thank you very much pointing out the very important thing. I have one question with you. Some day ago, there was advertisement of some medicine. The medicine can increase the platelet. Is it correct?
Papaya वाली सर?
Yes,
नहीं, ये वो कैलिक्रा की बात कर रहे हैं सर.
जी. Yes.
Remember, this is short-lived disease. ये वही है जैसे पपीते के पत्ते 50 रुपए का जवाब था लाहौर में. So there is, because this is short-lived, platelet normal होते हैं. We have treated, Dr. Bilkis will agree, as a physician, I have treated patient in Gangaram even at 0 platelet count and don't have bleed. They don't have bleed. So these platelets are not abnormal. These are because of suppression and due to leaky phase. जैसे ही वो leaky phase out होती है, very next day platelets start rising. और अगले within 2 or 3 days वही number normal होता है जो कि patient का before illness होता है.
बिल्कुल. As a pathologist, I will also comment on it that this is not due to the bone marrow depression. This is due to again the leaky phase and due to other factors you described, Dr. Professor Munir, and you, tumor necrosing factor and interferon, which are going to decrease the level of platelet. Any question from the audience? Any question from the?
मुलाजिम साहब एक सवाल है छोटा सा.
सर $1 लगेगा आप सवाल का सर.
चले आप $2 ले लेना कोई बात.
चले ठीक है सर.
I think maybe the pediatrician or Professor Khalid Mahmood can respond to my question. I just want to know the severity of the disease here in Pakistan in children vis-a-vis the adults. बच्चों में severity ज़्यादा है या कम?
Professor Amir, can you answer?
Dr. Wajid can respond very well because she is looking after a patient.
Yes,
as
sir,
far as
Dr.
I myself is concerned.
मैं इस तरह कमेंट कर सकती हूँ सर, because we are Professor Wajia can definitely talk about children because she's working as a core person in Children's Hospital. But at Mayo Hospital, we are coming across more both the pediatric age group by the two departments of pediatrics and the adult age group. Sir, is wave में we are seeing critical patients in both the groups. So may it be repeated infections, may it be so initially पहले ये आप उसमें भी पढ़ेंगे, जो रेफरेंसेस में भी पढ़ेंगे कि इन्फेंट्स में चांसेस ज़्यादा होते हैं. सर जो आपका पर्टिनेंट क्वेश्चन है कि हमें एडल्ट में भी इस वक्त हायर क्रिटिकल फेज मिल रही है एज अपोज टू व्हाट वी सॉ इन 2011.
अच्छा, आपने मल्टी सेंटर स्टडी की बात की थी. आई एम नॉट प्रॉमिसिंग बट आई स्टिल हैव कनेक्शन विद द CDC पीपल एंड आई विल टॉक टू द फोकल पर्सन इन इस्लामाबाद. इफ ही एग्रीज, I can offer my services as a moderator to get the genotyping from America. If he says yes, I'll set the protocols to all those centers who get who want to involve.
Sir, Dr. Bilkis, I will
इसमें participate करें. बुहारी साहब उनको protocol भेज देंगे और फिर sample collect करें.
मैं ऐड कर रहा हूँ कि NIH peoples are along with in this group and they have promised to make a multi-center.
NIH का कोई बंदा है इधर?
जी सर बैठे हैं, जमशेद साहब जीशान से बैठे हैं. ओके मैडम सलमा कुंदी
साहब से पूछो ना.
सर प्रोफेसर सलमा कुंदी.
ओके जी. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It was a fascinating discussion. And before I thank the speakers and the participants, सबसे पहले तो मैं Professor Mulazim साहब का शुक्रिया अदा करती हूँ, who's the moderator and who arranges all this for us. Hats off to you, Mulazim साहब. And then I want to thank on behalf of PMA Qazi Wasik साहब. Qazi Wasik साहब, thank you for taking over the
Qazi Saab. Thank you, Qazi Saab.
Qazi साहब, thank you so much. And Qazi साहब, आप तो president elect हैं SMAO के, which is the Confederation of Medical Association of Asia and Oceania. उसके behalf पे and as treasurer of PMA आज कैसर साहब नहीं है, who is the Secretary General PMA, and myself. Let's take it up. Let's have press conferences. हम fail कहाँ हो रहे हैं? ये मच्छर क्यों exist कर रहे हैं? After all, अगर हमने सिर्फ कोविड के ऊपर कंसंट्रेट करना है और बाकी बीमारियों पे जो हमारे काबू में नहीं है, मगर मच्छर तो हमारे काबू में होने चाहिए ना?
है ना।
We should ask the health ministry, the health department, involve the water and sanitation department के after all आप लोग टाइम पे स्प्रेज क्यों नहीं करते? क्यों आपने puddles और इस किस्म की चीजें छोड़ी हुई हैं जिनमें मच्छरों की अफजाइश हो रही है? मतलब ये ऑर्डिनरी हमारा कम्युनिटी मेडिसिन डिपार्टमेंट्स को भी मुतहरक होना है और हम सब ने मुतहरक होना है, बिकॉज ये एक जिहाद है. ये तो बहुत मामूली चीज थी. We can't take care of the coronavirus unless we do social distancing and wear masks and all that. But we can take care of a mosquito like Dr. Bilki said, and we should take care of it at government level and on war footing. Why should we be wasting our resources on dengue when we can take care of it at a very, very initial level? Anyway, my special thanks to Professor Khalid Mahmood Saab, Professor Bilkis Shabir Saiba as usual, to Professor Munir Saab, to Dr. Khalid Aman Saab, and to Dr. Arun Singh Saab, and many participants whom I can't even name now because it will take a lot of time. And special thanks to Dr. Rashid Saab. His ayat today was very pertinent. It mentioned the mosquito, and that ayat in the Holy Quran of the mosquito.
Thank you so much.
If there is some mufassir over here, we can know कि इसकी significance क्या है. Allah Pak ने mention किया है. That means ये चीज बड़ी profound significance की है. And from this forum, I want to thank the government of Sri Lanka for sending their team to us a decade back, who made the protocols for us and who guided us and put us on the right track. Thank you, Sri Lanka, and thank you all the participants, and hope to see you next week.
Professor,
Inshallah.
you want to-
Thank you.
मैडम मैं अगर इजाजत हो मुलाजिम साहब तो
जी
1
सर,
मिनट
जी
के
सर,
लिए
जी
मैं
सर,
बात
जी
कर
सर,
सकता
जी सर.
हूं. I am Dr. Qazi Wasik.
Wasik Saab, next president.
Thank you very much, Mulazim Saab, for conducting an excellent webinar. And it was more of an interactive session rather than going through the academic presentation. So it was a blessing in disguise. And Madam Salma Kundi has raised a very pertinent point that we are all looking to the hospital cares and the curative part of it. Well, we have literally failed in our preventive part of dengue fever. We need to have a three-pronged approach by the government and by the community. I mean, we should have community awareness programs. We should have, aggressive media awareness for the general public and the community. And then, of course, the mosquito eradication program needs to be, very aggressively taken over by the government and the municipal committees. It is their duty to make these sprays, especially before the monsoon starts. And then, of course, the clean, stagnant water storage part of it. So we need to, work on that. And she has very rightly said that on the platforms of PMA, we are definitely getting on with it. We are constantly knocking the doors of the government, and we'll keep doing it. And we'll be having more press conferences in order to have the community the awareness of the severity and the complications of dengue virus. So thank you, madam, for all that, and thank you all the
Last
speakers.
question, Professor Khalid, from you. Professor Khalid from Gulab Devi is asking, what is the role of
सर वो उसी पे मैं कमेंट करने लगा, उसी पे कमेंट लगाऊं कि सर ने सवाल पूछा है कि role of growth factor in severe dengue fever.
Yes, yes.
So as you know, sir, immune pathogenesis of dengue fever involves antibody protection, B cell and T cell response, and various pro-inflammatory and anti-inflammatory cytokines like vascular endothelial growth factor F are potent permeability enhancing cytokines. So, sir, you are right, but mostly is thought to play a pivotal role in mediating plasma leakage in dengue hemorrhagic fever. So, it's very important, but usually we don't have facilities in most of our labs as a study purpose. Yes, this is very important, and if we can do a study on this factor, this will be a very good study for future reference.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ayub. Professor Ayub, you want to ask the question? Professor Ayub, Professor of Physiology.
So thank you very much. क्वेश्चन तो कोई नहीं, बट कमेंट्स हैं कि आज का जो वेबिनार हुआ बाकी वेबिनार से मुख्तलिफ इसलिए था कि just like seeing slides and sleeping like backbenchers, at least we actively participated in the discussion. That was more beneficial for a person like me who is not a clinician. And we hope we continue this series of webinars in future too. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. At the end, I will request once again Professor Salma Kundi, President of PMA, for the concluding remarks. Professor Salma Kundi, I will request for
okay. On behalf of everyone, I thank all the participants, especially the speakers, who are Dr. Khalid Mahmood, Dr. Khalid Dewan, my dear Professor Balkis Shabir Sahiba, and Dr. Munir Sahib. And obviously, Mulazim Sahib, you're the host, Qazi Sahib is the host, I myself and the whole PMA brothers are our hosts. So I don't need to thank you all, but it is a pleasure being with you every Sunday. I'm not a clinician, and I'm sure many people amongst us are not, but we learn such a lot. And we can guide the GPs. And now I'm going to encourage all the GPs to join us, but this dengue is behaving very strangely. In Aptabad, which is a cold area, and it is at 4,000 feet, our hospital, our teaching hospital attached to Women Medical College, is full of dengue patients. Our DHQ hospital has got kids. The pediatric ward is full of dengue patients. Little kids have it. It is bad. We should work at eradicating mosquitoes every 3 months. And it should be like a national priority now. Thank you all. This forum and the webinars like this open up our neurons, and then we can think on other lines how to improve the system.
Before I
Allah bless you
madam,
all. Have a good Sunday.
Thank you, madam. Before I conclude, madam, with the help of NIH, we are on behalf of this forum, we are going to make a multi-center team to investigate different centers, type of strains of the, we will send these, collect these samples, we will send to NIH, and INH will perform free screening of the these strains, dengue strains, and hopefully, inshallah, after few months, we will be able to get the result and to publish the data on the behalf of this forum as a multi-centric study in Pakistan. Thank you very much. I am really thank you.
Mulazim sir, can I interrupt you for a minute? Do include Aptabad in it. We'll send you the samples as well.
जी मैडम, जी बिल्कुल। मैं सब कुलीग्स का शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ, और प्रोफेसर खालिद महमूद, प्रोफेसर खालिद अवान, प्रोफेसर मुनीर साहब और मैडम बिल्किस आपका, और you always gave the wonderful time to us, and all the audience, national and international, from Nepal, from Afghanistan, from Iraq, and thank you very much. God bless you. आज एक खुशखबरी भी ये है कि आज का जो दिन है आज के दिन हमारे प्यारे रसूल सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम का निकाह हुआ था हजरत खतीजतुल कुबरा का। तो आज का दिन भी मुबारक था, आप सबको मुबारक हो। ये पूरा महीना मुबारक है हमारे पाक मोहम्मद का, तो आज का दिन बहुत ही मुबारक है। अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातहू। थैंक यू वेरी मच। गॉड
थैंक यू
ब्लेस
वेरी
यू।
मच। थैंक यू।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम व
Thank you, ji. Thank
रहमतुल्लाहि
you
व
very much.
बरकातहू।
अल्लाह हाफिज जी, शुक्रिया
अल्लाह
जी
हाफिज,
बहुत।
अल्लाह हाफिज, अल्लाह हाफिज, अल्लाह हाफिज।
Thank you very much from PMA Lahore and Allama Iqbal Medical College. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया.